Hi, my name is Robert Elston of Status Employment. I'm the Chief Executive of Status Employment. I'm also Treasurer of the British Association of Supported Employment and the Vice President of the European Union of Supported Employment. The reason I want to talk to you today is I want to be doing a series of talks on supported employment. Why? Because I feel that it's important that we have some of the legacy and some of the history of why it started, but more importantly, why it's so important that we actually carry the fight on to help people with a disability find open paid employment, and why it's so important to do it in the right way. Why me? Well, I am being a person that's been involved for the past 37 years in supported employment. I started when I had not white hair, but sort of young, thick black hair, and it was in 1986 when I first started in an organisation called Blake's Wharf Employment Service. And it was very much feeling the way. None of us knew what we were doing, really. We all knew that we had been given the task of trying to help people with learning disabilities find open paid employment. And we were very much feeling our way and making sure that we tried to do it in the right way. We had lots of good training in looking at values training so that we could actually help people in the right way, and that we were doing things in a way that was going to be positive, and actually positive for the person with learning disabilities, but positive for the employer. But as I say, it was very much making the rules up as we went along. We were helped in that in 1988 when an organization in America who'd been doing it longer than us, Mark Gold Associates, came over, and they introduced us to a training method which still is used today. We now call that training method training systematic instruction. And it's still being used by many organizations, including the British Association of Supported Employment, where you can actually be trained on it. What we did do at those days, we actually showed it was really, really positive and possible to get people with learning disabilities into open paid jobs. And that created an interest not only in the UK, but also across Europe. And we found in the late 80s and the early 90s, we weren't the only organisation in delivering supported employment. We were joined by many, many other organisations. And I remember in the early 1990s, the Association for Supported Employment in the UK was started. And very soon after that, in Rotterdam, the European Union of Supported Employment was also started. And both of those organisations, I feel that I've helped in my time in actually moving forward the views of what makes good and what is good quality. At the same time with the expansion, there were two people who came to see me from Croydon, Kimberly Charman and Tony Coggins, and they wanted to know whether it was possible for people with learning disabilities from day centres to find employment. And I explained to them that yes, I thought it was, and I helped with them in actually helping them set up at first what was called Action Employment, that morphed into at a later stage Status Employment, which is the full circle for me. Is I talk to people as regards it, and then I become the chief executive. I'm hoping in the next few weeks to be able to have an interview with both Kimberly Charman and Tony Coggins for their recollection as regards that. I think a lot has been achieved over the past 37 years. I often describe it as pushing a boulder up a hill. It is never finished, and every time you relax, something else comes along to make sure that you, like a recession, that makes sure that you have to keep pushing harder and harder, and you need more and more people to do that. And we're still like that. But we've achieved a lot. Over a period of time, there has been some really, really good toolkits developed by the European Union of Supported Employment, toolkits in supported employment and toolkits in diversity, also toolkits for self-employment, which is something that is very dear to my heart, as well as SEQF quality standards. In the UK, we've adopted the SEQ quality standards. We have the National Occupational Standards in supported employment, and it's sort of showing us what is good quality supported employment and what isn't. And I think it's incredibly important because for me, it's still the most evidence way of actually helping a person with a disability find employment and keep employment. So that is why, to me, it is so important. And the achievements that we've made over the past few years, we need to keep building on. And it's so important. As I say, it's never quick, but we mustn't sort of slip back in there. And this is why I want to have these series of talks with people that I've met on the way and different people with different ideas, so that over a period of months, we can actually have some legacy around what we've achieved, but more importantly, what we still have to achieve, because there's still so much to carry on with. So I'm going to leave you at the minute for this time, but in the next few weeks, I'm going to be having interviews with a number of people who I feel have been important in the legacy of supported employment, and actually being able to build that into a proper evidence-based way of helping people with disabilities find employment. Thank you.